What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be looking at Microstrategy today, and we're going to be going over some indicators and some different charts. We are starting off hot right now. This thing is looking very nice. Currently sitting at 392 in pre-market. Bitcoin's at 96,000 right now. I'm always skeptical about, when you get like a little run up in the pre-market and you gap up, because I always feel like price likes to do the opposite once you actually open, but maybe we open, close the gap with a little wick, and then we push up higher. Or, as we all know, MicroStrategy is another beast. So maybe this thing will just gap up 392 or higher, and then just ride up from there. This thing's looking good right now. We're starting to cook right now. That bounce off of this bottom trend line is money. This thing's looking great. It's looking just like this move here, like we spoke about. It looks identical to this move here. It almost feels like deja vu for the third time. You got something similar here. This one looks almost identical. And hopefully we get this next move coming up. I would love to see that. But overall, as we spoke about, we got to close and bounce off this horizontal level of support and resistance. Key level right there. We definitely want to get above that. We are running into our golden zone, but it looks like MicroStrategy doesn't care about the golden zone. It's 392. Let's see if this thing just rips right through MicroStrategy. If there's one stock that could rip through a strong level of a Fibonacci zone, a golden zone, it's MicroStrategy. This thing is a different beast when it gets going. And when it's in the downturn, it's a different beast in a bad way. So right now we're looking at the good times, hopefully. I think it's going to be the good times. So let's see if it rips right through and it says, I don't care about technicals. I'm just going to keep running up. Earnings will be after hours, so keep that in mind. We'll see what Michael Saylor decides to do today. Let's see if this allows MicroStrategy to spike a little bit more with the FASB being introduced, where they can claim the unrealized gains from Bitcoin onto their balance sheet. So let's see if it helps out in a bullish way, or let's see if this thing sells off with the anticipation. You know how earnings goes, any kind of news events, they're always, even if it's good, sometimes it can drop. If it's bad, sometimes it can rally. It's a mixed bag on every occasion for every different stock. So we'll see how it plays out. MicroStrategy is really just warming up right now, stretching its legs before it starts taking off. We did break this downward sloping trend line. Didn't really get much of a retest. And we're just pushing up higher. So let's see how quick we can get up to 500. Think about it. We're really not that far. Once you, look how quick this happened. This is a 4-week span from the bottom to our current level. We're at 391. We're up 67% in a span of 3.5 weeks. 3 full weeks and a half, or roughly. It's about to be 4 coming up soon on Friday. But we're up 67% in 3.5 weeks. Once we hit 400, how far are we from all-time highs? Not that far. We're 34% away. What if we get another move similar to that? In 3 more weeks, another 67%. Just it's hypothetical, but look how quick it happens. It really is that quick. It doesn't seem like much here because you're like, oh, price is still sub 400, but that was 67%. And then you tack on another 67%, like I said, and you're sitting at 670. And what happens when we get another small move from 670? Let's say we get a 50% move in a 2-week span, which is very possible. 50% puts us at $1,000. And just like that, it can really happen that quick. So we'll see what happens, of course, but it really will happen in the blink of an eye. As you can see here, we spoke about it in the last video. The last 3 weeks, that's where all the gains came from. Because you go from 226. So let's say you were down here accumulating shares. Every $120 right here. Let's say this is your average price, 120. Every $120, you're doubling your money. So when you're here at this point and you gain, or I'm sorry, from here, go from 225 to 550. You gained $317 per share, right? And every 120, you're doubling your money. So look at that. So you doubled your money 2 times and then kind of like half. So because your average share was $120 a share and you gained 314. So that's why I say all the gains really come at the end. All the major gains. And then that's not including all the gains you made up to this point and then compounding with whatever you're buying if you're averaging in and all that kind of stuff. But it's just crazy. It's going to be the last 3 weeks, in my opinion, or last 3 or 4 weeks, because it could be an extended move, who knows. But it's going to be towards the end that just gets crazy. Once we break above this 500, 550 region, all these small percentage gains will be so much larger. I mean, 67% is not small, but you get my concept. But then again, like I said, this is still the area you have to look out for. We've been repeating it. Looks like Microstrategy doesn't care about my TA, which I love to see. It says my TA is pointless. I like to see that to the upside. So we got to get a close above here, retest, and push up higher. That'd be ideal. On the daily SMAs, we are ramping up. We're getting that 20-week pushing up, hopefully hugging price along the way like we've seen here in the large run-ups. That's what we want to see again. On the weekly, we're looking perfect. Let's see if we can start getting this 20-week to start curling up. The 50's already been pushing upward, and that's where we got our strong bounce and continuation of price. Global liquidity. Looks like it's cooling down. We did speak about potential head and shoulders, but I don't think that's the ideal scenario. I mean, it could happen, but it looks like it's trying to form, but I don't know if that's going to happen because I'm still bullish on global liquidity, but we'll see. But you can see that is forming. If this thing turns around right here, that's going to be the head and shoulders, and then that could be taking global liquidity lower. And even if it does take it lower, even with this pause in global liquidity, it can still rise up after the fact. It's not the end of the world, you know. And even if that was the end of the move, we can still take a look here and see global liquidity. If you take it from this bottom, it ran for 98 days. So we're going to say that this is the start of the move here because this was the bottom on Bitcoin, which is what really matters. MicroStrategy is just the proxy of it. So this was the start here, 98 days. This is the start here. So we're, let's say 22 days in. So we'll say 22 days in here. So maybe we're somewhere in this ballpark. Remember, it's not exact. So let's say we're somewhere in this region here. 22 days. If we take it out 98 days, that puts us in the beginning of July, or I'm sorry, mid-July. So that makes sense, especially when you start looking at the way that these weekly candles have operated. But we'll actually just look at Bitcoin, just measure it out. It'll make more sense. So this last leg, global liquidity ran for 98 days. Bitcoin ran for 98 days essentially before the first local top, and then we got a second top. But 98 is pretty much spot on. We had this one here where we ran for 91 days, and then we take it from here. We ran for about 98 days on this leg here. So let's see if it's kind of the same concept where we run up for 98, 90 days, maybe 80 something days. Like I said, MicroStrategy will top prior. On the RSI, we're still looking good. Looking very good. We're getting to overbought territory. We're not there yet. Once we hit 70, then we'll officially be on, we'll be in the overbought territory on the daily. And on the weekly, we're still at 63, so we still have a little bit of ways to go to 70. But once we get that large sustainable move above, as you can see, we broke above it before, but we got a double top. But we need to see it a nice exaggerated move And then I think we get the 3 weeks that we spoke about prior, where we're saying once you break the 70 mark, but with an aggressive move, you get 3 strong weeks, 150, 160% for 3 weeks. You broke it here with an aggressive move, you get 3 weeks, 145%. So I can definitely see that happening. Maybe we get to the overbought territory at 550, maybe even a little bit higher. Then we get our nice 3-week run of an exaggerated move. And maybe that takes us even higher than this target, which would be ideal. I would love to see that. But yeah, once we get that exaggerated move above 70, we can't get to 70 and kind of just like die out. As you can see, when we pushed to 70 here, there just wasn't as much momentum and it kind of just died out. But once we pushed to 70 here, we had the firepower behind us. You can see as we were building to 70, you can see price was increasing in volume and strength. And we kind of had the same thing here. And I think we're going to have the same thing here. As you can see, that exponential move upward. And let's see how it plays out. And on the monthly, actually, we're just breaking above the moving average, which is key. That is very, very important. We broke above it. As you can see, the purple line broke above the yellow. Ideal scenario right there. Kind of we're creating a nice little bull flag here. It looks like we're trying to push higher. Let's see if we get back to the 70. I think 70 on the monthly would be ideal. Because as you can see, we had that run up here as we pushed above 70 and the run up here. So let's see if we can do the same thing. Ideally, we would love to see something like this where we blow past 80 because these both topped at 80. So let's see if we can get past 80 and we get a crazy move like we can see here, and we get that insane blow off top like we saw in February 2021. But that could be later in the cycle, depending on right and left translated cycle. I think if we see a move like this by July, August, that might be the top. But if we don't see a move like this, then like let's say we see something like this, then I think the trend probably continues, and then we'll get something like this later on in the year, maybe November, December, if that makes any sense. Left translated versus right translated. That's how I could see the monthly RSI looking. But this is looking very bullish. We just got to break it to that 70 region so we can rally up. Daily MACD, we're looking good, creating our volume. We're in bullish territory, looking good. And here, like we spoke about, we finally got our cross. Blue crossed above the orange, ideal. You can see what happened the other times that we crossed. Very bullish as the bearish momentum is decreasing and the bullish momentum is increasing. On Bitcoin, we were talking about on a lower time frame that we had a bull flag or bull pennant being formed. I'll show you that now. As you can see how it played out, it's looking like it's playing out as we speak. We'll see what the final outcome is, but we were range bound. We had this horizontal level support that we broke above. We kind of thought that we'd break out just because the more you touch a line or a zone, the weaker it gets. And we just kept tagging that thing multiple times. And we were barely tagging the bottom of the line. We'd tag the bottom of the line, shoot up, tag it, shoot up, tag it, shoot up. So this was getting all the abuse. We just kept hitting it non-stop, kept hitting it, and then we finally broke out this morning. We'll see if it holds. It's looking good. It's looking very bullish. These minor pullbacks are ideal in a larger move up. Let's see if it turns out to be a fake out, but I truly don't know right now, but we'll find out. Maybe we get a retest of this line and push up higher. Or we fall back into this range. It's always possible. That doesn't mean that the move is over, per se. On MSTR divided by Bitcoin, we are looking very good. It's playing out very well. We had our breakout. We had our retest. Pushing up higher. We did speak about the 40 level that we wanted to see that, and it's starting to rip up a little bit higher. This is ideal. This goes to show that MicroStrategy is doing what it's supposed to do. This is what we want to see. We don't want to see Bitcoin breaking out and MicroStrategy falling down. That would mean that it's not doing its job, because its job is to outperform in a bull market and bull times And then during the bear times, it's supposed to look like this. And it's supposed to continue downward and bleed to Bitcoin. So this is looking very good. This is ideal. And we're going to talk about actually, we got to go back and talk about the 20-month SMA on Bitcoin. So the 20-month SMA is a key level. As this thing rises and gets closer to hugging price tends to just rally up because it's 20 months worth to create the line. But as you can see in the large bull trends, this thing is pretty close to price, not hugging it per se because it's a 20-month SMA. But as this thing's rallying up, you can see price just takes off. And then of course you bleed into it. But every time you get that price, that time where it's trying to hug price as best as it can, it truly can't keep up with price because of how dynamic Bitcoin is and the lag effect, but it just absolutely rallies tremendously. So I feel like we're starting to see the same idea here as it's trying to hug price, and we're just getting that rally. We haven't even really ran exponentially from the 20-month moving average. I think we will get another move that we separate pretty significantly from the 20-month SMA. So as you can see, previously we were 25% away from it, 38% away from it, and then towards the peak of it, we get that rally where we're 225% away from it. And you can see here we touched it, and then as we're running up, we're only 11%. A little bit later, we're 47%, and then we get the large takeoff where we're 189% away from it. So I feel like we're kind of in that same ballpark in the beginning stages where we are only 13% away. Here we're pretty close to it. We're only 7% away from it, or 8% from the bottom that we had, potential bottom. It was only 7.5 or 8.7% away from it. So at some point, I do expect it to have that push up where price is, I don't know, 120% above the 20-month moving average. I can definitely see that happening later in the cycle, or we'll see how soon Bitcoin runs up. But as we all know, it can happen in the snap of a finger. You can look here, these 2 months right here. When you take the percentage gains, it's a 70% run in 2 months, in a 2-month span. So we can definitely do something like that again. 70% would take us to 130 roughly. If we run up, 92%, takes up to 142. So I don't think the run will be only 2 months. I think it'll be more of an extended move that we see something like this potentially, or higher. Hopefully we see an exaggerated move like this. And to the Tether Dominance, which we spoke about previously, once we reach this blue line, that will more than likely be the top of the move, at least temporarily. It's some kind of local top. When you overlay Bitcoin, you can really see it. Just gotta put this on log, and you can see that touch here. I didn't even highlight this one, but you can see here on the touch, you get the top here, local top here, and so on. You can see it happening multiple times. So I do think when we touch this line, that will be the temporary top, whether it's for this cycle or for later in the cycle to break it again. But this will be the indicator or chart, I would say, not indicator, to look at in the times where you're trying to figure out where the top could be at. I think we are starting to see a repeat of this move here, where the 20 week is pushing up as the 50 is coming down, and then you get that quick push up, and then the 20 week starts to follow downward. I think we're going to see that similar move. I think we're going to see the 20 week come up slightly above the 50, but since it's a lagging moving average, it's going to come up and then curl right back down, and that's where we're going to get our final fall, like we can see here. When you get these falls right here, these are the largest moves in Bitcoin. This is how we got our March run up in 2024. This is how we got our September, November run up in 2024. So I think that's exactly what we're going to see. We just need to give it some time, but we want it to fall through this 50-week moving average. We want to see this thing get pushed down. We do have the 200 above our head, which is very bullish in a way because we want price to fall. As price falls, Bitcoin will run. If you guys like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Send it to a friend. Talk about it. I'll see you guys in the next one.